DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Hey, hope you're well. It is Sunday afternoon. What time is it? It's 4 in the afternoon. I'm going to say I wonder where the time has gone by today. It seems that, being busy. Usual Sunday. Went to a church service in the morning and I watched a second one online and Headington in Oxford. I think I've told you so many times. You're gonna say he's repeating himself. Must be age, I guess so. And then watched a few YouTube videos and did some Spanish lessons for about an hour. And now I thought, might be time for a little coffee vlog. I had a beer at lunch, if you're wondering. Yeah, but I actually felt more for a coffee. It's a little bit cooler. It is, it's 19 Celsius, so you can go and look it up yourself. Anyway, so it's not cold. It's actually quite nice, but no, it is raining now, but only very, very lightly. Actually, it might have just stopped. It's been raining quite heavily before, but it stopped. Today, yesterday was my birthday, and today would have been my dad's 92nd birthday. Yeah, time certainly flies. I was thinking, when you look at periods of time, like I was born in 1957, so like I said yesterday, I turned 67. And now we're 1920, or not 19, we're 2024. And I was looking at what has changed, in those 67 years. And I was like going back like 100 years back, because when we were kids, when I was a kid, talking about like 1924, seemed like a long time ago. And thinking of anybody who would have been born, anybody who had been born in 1857 would have been over 100 years old. So that's probably not. I wouldn't have known anybody that. But my great grandparents were born in the around 1880, something like that. Yeah, my granddad was born in 1898. So if you take somebody who was born like his parents or what, they were like born 20 to 25 years before him. So his dad, at least, because you know how it was then. The ladies were a lot younger, usually around 20, and they were having kids. But even so, 1898, that makes his mom was probably like 1878. His dad, in the mid 1870s, something like that. Well, you see, I was looking that up because the American Civil War was, I think it was 1860, 1861, something like that. So, it's like 95 years or something like that, but it's slightly less than 100 years before me. Okay. But when you think about it, they had then, so in the 1860s, 1880s, they had the train. They didn't have cars yet. So it's no wonder I see pictures of my great-grandfather who was everybody was saying he was a master, he was a master with horses. He was, I can't remember, he used to be a postmaster, something like that, but everything was done with horses, of course, and horse and buggies. And he died, he must have been pretty old, because I think he died like in the very early 60s, something like that. My great-grandfather. I think it was that. I could look it up. Anyway, that's not important. What I mean is that he saw going from horse to car to radios, or the wireless as they probably called it, televisions, and he didn't see probably color television, but he saw black and white television, uh, and all those things, that came in his period of his life. And I was thinking, like, okay, so now if I go like to somebody like myself, already in the period that I have been here, television is gone. Television was there, radio was there, but now we uh, went from black and white to color television. Um, the radios, like I remember little transistor radios, and my aunt had one that was an FM radio. We only had an AM radio at the house at the time. An FM radio, wow. Stereo, wow. Things like that. Then, of course, we're not even talking about, at the time we had party lines for the telephones. We're not talking about cell phones. Of course, ours was on the wall, but, the first phone that I remember in my grandparents' home was actually, the crank model, like you see in the old movies. But I mean, anyway, when I was born, yes, there was phones, but they were not everybody actually had phone. And like I told you in the vlogs before, the part of the village where I was born, the house that we lived in at first, we did not have electricity and we did not have running water, although it did exist. I'm not saying it didn't, but some people did not. Things like that. And of course, what else came in the period since I've born? So the internet, of course, and all that brought. And I was talking about phones, so of course the cell phones. And we're going now to, I was going to say to electric cars, but actually that's been around for a long time. It just hasn't been a production model. But no, if you go back to somebody who was born in 100 years before me, there were no cars. There was a train. Yeah, there was a train. But there were no cars. There were no phones. Was there the telegram? When did the telegram come? Pretty early, actually. But I mean, he's pretty noisy. I can't quite see him. I don't know where he is. Yeah, anyway, so I'm just thinking, like somebody later on in life, when I'm like in my, well, I hope I'll make it there, but like when I'll be an even older man, people already, are wondering, like, how is it possible that when you were young, there was not this, there was not that, and so on. Pretty incredible. Well, in the period that it's true, somebody walked on the moon. Could not have expected that. I'm always surprised, though, when I think of, what was that, 1969? Yeah. I think nobody's been back since. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't get me going. I know some people are, actually I've had people when I've mentioned things like that still doubt it. But anyway, let's not get into that. I was reading not too long ago, though, maybe I did mention it here at one point, not too long ago, that they were saying that if you took somebody that was like around the time of Christ, so AD 0, and brought them up to, AD 1000, or even AD 1500 probably, there was less difference. They would have less problems recognizing themselves in that period if you brought them from 1,000 years later than somebody from the early 1800s into, for example, our age, which is 200 years, or even take, like I was just saying, take somebody like my great-grandfather and bring him back to, watching videos on Skype and computers and stuff like that. The change for you think about it, how much we have evolved technologically in the last 30 years or something like that. Yeah, very incredible. Okay, I just see I'm already up to 10 minutes, so I better like put a lid on it anyway. So just chatting. I just thought I'd just chat about how things have changed just in my lifetime, and I'm just wondering like how much things will change in the lifetime of my children and my grandchildren comparatively. Incredible. Okay, that's it. DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Have a good Sunday for what's left of it. Bye bye.